very warm welcome to IDFC First Bank presents Leaders of Tomorrow Season 12. I'm Ritwika Gupta. Tonight on the show, the focus is on manufacturing and we'll be putting the spotlight on the Luthra Group, one of the leading and most advanced processing houses headquartered in Surat. Since its inception, the company has been on a remarkable journey of growth and success. What makes tonight's conversation truly special is that I'll be joined by the father-son duo driving the future of their company and industry. For the very first time, they're appearing together for a television interview. In conversation tonight with Girish Luthra, chairman of the Luthra Group, and Dhruv Luthra, managing director of the Luthra Group. Mr. Girish, Dhruv, thank you for joining us on ET Now Leaders of Tomorrow.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
So, Mr. Girish, I'd like to come to you first. Can you walk us through the journey of Luthra Group? You began as a textile business and then later diversified into infrastructure, utilities, real estate and environmental protection. So, could you provide an overview of this evolution?
I joined business in 81 in an existing textile company, which was then about 30, 40 years old, since 50s. Started by my father, but we started the textile processing part. During the processing part, there was a lot of learning on environment and sustainability within textile processing to reduce or recycle and all those things related to 3R, related to environment. Just because saving of energy, carbon footprint, and minimizing waste at source came in there. During that journey, and the process of learning environment and visiting world over with USAID, UN, the CII and FICCI, I had been moving in different parts of the world to learn that what else can be done or brought to India to make India a better country. Sustainability came out in mind in 90s, and we formed a company in 99, which was waste management at source, which was the first target, and then secured landfills and incineration and destruction of waste. From destruction, we started researching and taking some patents and specializing on recycling and of waste of communities. So community-based waste management facilities were built. Since 2000, we are doing it, and now we have 10 facilities pan-India doing alternate fuel out of hazardous and toxic waste from industries, serving close to 7,000 industries pan-India, and doing most of them converting into fuel. And this fuel is given to cement companies for reducing their own fossil fuel. That journey further moved on to building sustainable industrial infrastructures. So we made textile parks, which were conceptualized on the basis of a lot of reducing waste at source and community-based normal effluent treatment plants, water recycling, sustainability being the backbone, so rainwater harvesting, even co-processing, co-energy-based engines and power. And then we further improved our working by entering into municipal waste and researching into some patented technologies where we worked on creating a fuel out of municipal waste, which is more like exactly matching the standards of any coal, or rather in sustainable language or chemistry, far cleaner coal.
Thank you, Mr. Girish. Dhruv, coming to you, tell us, how does the Luthra Group integrate the principles of the circular economy into its business operations? Tell us about your 3R approach.
So our 3R approach is something which is the entire company's backbone, because we are the accelerators of environment services for all our clients. Like our chairman and dad both. He said that how 7,000 clients are consistently working with us for over a decade now. We basically go to them with their manufacturing process. We reduce and target to reduce the waste at source. So that is waste minimization at source. So reduce comes into picture. When we talk about the idea of working with these same clients, the waste that still is left at the end of the manufacturing story, that entire manufacturing process, that last mile is still left as waste, which comes to us, where we have deployed, we have 1,500, over 1,500 recipes, which are patented and blocked, which is our own intellectual property as an organization, to convert it into fuel. And this fuel is a green fuel, so it can be easily compared to coal because it has the same specific calorific values as coal, which is then used at different clients and their end users wherever coal is being used. So that way we reduce our dependence on the coal factor of bringing it to India or importing it into India. And that way we've also reduced the amount of foreign currency going out of the country for bringing in or imported coal into India. And when we talk about the last bit, where we are talking about, other than reuse, we are talking about further more recycling processes to be brought in. That's where the whole tech piece has come in, that over a period of time, we have been completely focused on R&D. And our own focus at the end of the day had to be that we have to be a carbon positive company, which we are happy to say that we became 3 years ago, where we are absolutely carbon positive. And over the last decade, we have been actually able to save almost close to 1 million tons of greenhouse gases emission, which has been reduced because of the tech deployed over a period of time. So it has only been possible because of sustained R&D.
Now, Mr. Girish, you earlier spoke about green fuel, and the Luthra Group is actively involved in the Swachh Bharat mission through the production of sustainable alternate fuel. You touched on this a little bit earlier as well, but could you share more about this association?
See, we started 25 years back when we started working on waste disposal to recycling and reducing. Swachh Bharat mission came in with a very nice concept of reaching to an average person, first to clean up the streets, to have common toilets for houses, and then streamlining drainage systems into water. So in the late 90s to early 2000, we worked with municipal corporations as a part of an association where I was working, to use that water also for industry after processing. So we became the first leaders in the same, having supported Swachh Bharat mission. Then the mission was made in mid 2012, 2014, 18 period, which we could then readily give examples that how it was possible, and some things were given by us jointly to the various departments that we were working as informal, formal plans. Then from there, we created this Eka coal, which I had mentioned, which is fuel out of municipal waste. And that fuel equates to the quality of fuel of Indonesian coal. So we try to substitute the imports as much as possible. Municipal waste, hazardous and toxic waste, we are the largest player in the country because it is one of those subjects which needs high amount of knowledge, skill, and tech. That is where we mastered the same, and then we created fuel out of this, which is very well accepted. Our R&D wing has a set of people who try and investigate, inventorize what are the other alternates which are available as waste, and we produce product, or on a lighter note, wealth out of waste.
So, Dhruv, coming to you and shifting the focus a little bit, tell us, how has your academic background in business and textile engineering influenced your business approach? And would you say your business approach is similar to your father's, or is it completely different?
When you talk about education, education is something which was very much intrinsic. It helped me through the processes of understanding what everybody was saying. Like the previous question you asked, and when you mentioned 3R approach, it is something which is first taught theoretically, and then we got a chance to actually implement it in real life. And that is exactly the fun part where this business grew because of that entire approach which was taught at school. And hence, when if I talk very specific, when I come from the textile background, the idea of systems thinking's approach came from there because it is a fast moving item which has to be prepared very quickly. Although I gave very little time and years to that part of the business and directly joined more on the environment based business part. But eventually, why this could enhance further with the whole management skill, I could actually drive tech better because of personal passion as well as because of the fact that I wanted to do this in a more uh, expandable way. I would say things where I could actually approach the problem where the solution lied in the tech and it could be replicated very quickly because sustainability also has to be replicable. And that's exactly what our target was. And to do all of this, the other part of education which came in really handy was the global perspective. So I did my double majors in from Singapore. When I came back, it gave me a thought process to first of all be customer centric and at the same time have a global perspective to bring something which has already been invented. You don't reinvent. So instead of reinventing the wheel, you adopt, adapt, and then you continue the journey further. And that's how it helped.
It's time for a quick break here. We'll be back shortly. Stay tuned. Welcome back to IDFC First Bank Presents Leaders of Tomorrow Season 12. In conversation with father-son duo Girish Luthra, chairman of the Luthra Group, and Dhruv Luthra, managing director of the Luthra Group. So, Mr. Girish, just zooming out a bit, what is your perspective on the current state of infrastructure industries in India? How is India positioned to make a mark in manufacturing on the global stage?
Sustainability came in very well in the last decade, and the infrastructure related to sustainability is on the very high pace. We are still a long journey to go because I would say that we must have achieved in India, still we are in a lower double digit achievement. We have a lot of scope of improvements on this sector, whether it be waste, whether it be wastewater, water recycling. We can achieve a lot, and that is the potential that we are all working well. Government is supportive. They will look into it that it happens, and we are very hopeful and very positive on this in the country. So far as India is concerned on manufacturing hub needs hardworking and smart people, which is available in India. So India will become the second best manufacturing place after China for some time, and then look at even crossing it.
And Dhruv, how do you perceive technology? How do you stay ahead in adopting cutting-edge technologies to address evolving environmental challenges?
I'll go back a bit into the history of how we began. So, and that's also in sync with how environment has shaped along with as a business in India, that conventional thinking always started off with landfill, which is basically digging a big hole into the ground and then putting the stuff there and then taking care of it and hoping everything goes fine. That was the old thinking across the globe, not just in India. And that's exactly where we also had our beginnings. But we also, as I previously mentioned, we have been extensively putting our brains into the R&D effort and the tech effort, which helped us create one simple basic element. And the element which we learned out of the thing was that if you build something, you have to actually reinvent the wheel sometimes just because to do it better. And that's where we actually came up with the first incinerator of the country, which is also the largest at that point of time, which when we realized that this conventional thinking is not going to take us places. So R&D helped us furthermore to come up with the recycling solutions which we had. And it was not easy. It was not straightforward. So how, when you ask me, it was a lot of failed attempts to reach the right recipe the first time. Before today, what we claimed as we have, which are the 1,500 working recipes, there have been multiple attempts of failure and then getting up and then pushing the team to go up and go on, growing from that perspective forward to actually get to a point where today we make alternate fuels from hazardous waste, which is all industrial waste, which ties us beautifully into the India growth story, where if manufacturing, which is basically the push of India and the need of the hour, we are the actual caretakers of that growth story for all the businesses to here to come and to prosper. And for the future, for the next steps, we are already looking towards the idea of adding things like IoT, moving forward towards progress to solve problems, which is so that you're never stagnated. So it's just about the idea of not stopping where you have and being happy or content with what you have. Instead, if we want to grow more in the idea of the tech space by adding newer tech as and when it comes. So we have an entire dedicated scope, and the R&D cell is actually has a name now since the last year and a half, which is called InnoQ. So it is to add to the Luthra innovation quotient, and that is where we came about with think local and act global.
So, our show is watched by a lot of MSME owners, startup founders, entrepreneurs. Mr. Girish, what advice would you have for micro, small, and medium businesses when it comes to balancing economic prosperity and ecological balance?
India became free in 92, and it took almost 10 years for people to realize that now we are a free economy, at least in the MSME sector. Now, MSME, I have always been watching them as I've been president in FICCI, and I'm continuing that as my portfolio today in the MSME wing. We feel that MSME needs to upgrade themselves on knowledge continuously. That is one thing which is ineffective in most of the MSMEs. They are very good at cost-effective solutions because that's what their forte is. However, when it comes to knowledge, technology, innovation, it's not their focus which has come up. Truly to their position, they may not be able to have that kind of budgets or funds to support many of those R&Ds. Then for that reason, we go back to the history of Japan. And we learn from Japan certain policies that they built in 50s. That was the wild goose and duckling theory, wherein the wild goose takes care of the ducklings, which very successfully happened all across the globe in the automobile sector, where there are ancillaries built to the design, controlled and quality and everything by the main player, maybe whosoever be the automobile brand which is making and selling. So similarly, MSME needs to now start looking at that model of wild goose and duckling is one of the thought processes which comes across. Second is that they can start partnering with the larger players. The survival will remain if micro thinks of becoming a large and small thinks of becoming medium. Medium goes to large. Micro industry will have to be a supportive industry to all of these three.
Great. And finally, one last common question to the both of you. Looking ahead, what are the key areas of focus and growth strategies for the Luthra Group in the next 5 to 10 years? Dhruv?
So for the next 5 to 10 years, where we are focused on is, of course, the larger picture to add to our feather of all the activities that we have been doing. We are doubling down our effort on municipal waste management and to actually reduce the legacy waste, which is across multiple cities in India. So we want to reduce that with the tech which we have developed between 2019 and now, and which has been really successful in cities like Ahmedabad and Chittorgarh. And we want to now double down and at least have 3 to 4 sites come up every year in different locations. Other than that is, of course, where we have understood and we have already been working for a long time with that idea is that we need to develop more people within the stream who are our social ambassadors, who are the environment sustainability ambassadors within the team. So we have been working within ourselves to add to that entire thing, that we have more number of people who can go out there and take care of multiple more, add more cities into the mix. So today we have 10 cities. We want to actually add another 8, 10 cities in the near future. And when that goes further, the million ton of greenhouse gases, which we have reduced today, should be a target where by 2030 we want to double that. What in simple terms would be what we have done in a decade, we would like to do it in the next 5 years. Is how I would like to approach this problem, and we actually have a plan for it.
Mr. Girish?
Okay, I will add further to him that there are certain targets and visions on sustainability. Our focus is wherever there is waste, we want to create a product out of it. We have done almost close to 50 research papers and documents within our company, looking at various streams which can be recycled independently or collectively, and those from which, with the numbers changing, inflation and the whole industry scene changing, we look at it every 2 years, that what is a new product which can be now recycled from the waste and be sustainable both ecologically and economically for the solutions that we have in mind. There are a lot of work carried out in different parts of the world. So we are doing a collective database collections of what technologies are already present. And now we have to inventorize the same here and match make the tech and the inventory. On that front, Dhruv has also said that we have a lot of potential and will continue. But more importantly is bringing awareness. We have this InnoQ built is also to bring awareness, because this will also be a skill development, getting people into the system. That's another challenge, because this system and the whole product range or methodology is understood by very few. So safe disposal to safe recycling, and safe recycling to increasing the product range is what is our focus for next 10 years. And to add that would be that we also want to be an Indian company to invest abroad on sustaining other countries also for their sustainability solutions within the country.
Well, this was a fantastic conversation. Mr. Girish, Dhruv, thank you so much for making time for this.
Thank you. Pleasure meeting you.
With that, it's a wrap on this episode of IDFC First Bank Presents Leaders of Tomorrow Season 12. We hope you enjoyed the conversation. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.